steep, get high. Run flat, stay low. Run the mountain, run the road. Run past the 8-stand to the commode. Oh, run steep, get high. Run flat, stay low. One stream, two guys. Mountain Outpost. Now here's your host.
Hey, welcome everyone to Mountain Outpost Podcast number 35. I'm your co-host, Jamil Coury, here with
Skizzle Fresh, Schuyler Hall.
Yeah. Woo! Oh, we got it. Nailed it. I hope. Welcome everyone. We're back. We tried to do this podcast, was it 2 weeks ago now?
Yeah.
Approximately, and had some issues with my home internet, and so hopefully you can hear me now. If you can, Matt Feldhake, give me an LFG in the chat, please. That would be great. But anyways, we are here. We're going to be talking about all things running news this week and other various things that are happening in our lives. We've got some exciting things happening. We are going to be reunited a week from now in Austin, Texas for the running event, and we're going to be having a meetup. So stay tuned. Listen to the rest of this podcast to find out where that might happen and when it might happen and how you can get involved. And I'm probably going to bring stuff to give away because that's just fun, and it's going to be a good time. Audio is good. We are good to go. So what is up?
We're doing. If you're listening to this on a podcatcher and you're like, why is this always a theme? Because we're live on YouTube at the same time as well. So you can check that out, generally speaking, Tuesday nights when it happens. And if you are live watching us on YouTube, thanks for hanging out. Make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button for the Mountain Outpost channel, and then also drop comments, questions, concerns, thoughts, needs, or emotions in the chat, because that's what we are here for. But otherwise, yeah, just listen on your podcatcher of choice on the Steep Life Media channel so you can enjoy this on your runs whenever the hell you want. What was the question? How am I doing? Life's fine. We're good. My arm is sore. I got stabbed in the arm today, so life is good, man. Life is good. Yeah. How you holding up?
Good. Yeah. Biggest thing for me is I am on a training program, and I have thus far done everything. Now, see, I'm already carving caveats out to this thing. I've done every run, every single run on the program, starting from last Monday up until today, Tuesday. I'm like 8 days in, 9 days in. I've done all the runs. Have I done the recommended strength programs? That I have not, but I've made every run, and that is a good step forward.
All right, so let's back up a second. Mr. I will show up and run 100+ miler, have that be the only training I do, and then disappear for another 3 weeks on Strava. First and foremost, let's just kudos for consistency. This is the longest run streak you've had in, hell, what, 2-3 years at this point, it feels like. So,
well, I don't
job.
think it's even a streak because I had a day off, but it is a training streak. Like, I was supposed to take a day off, and I did, so we're good. It counts.
There's intentionality in that,
yeah.
So I will allow it. Can we divulge who's coaching you, or
sure.
like what the plan is? What are we aiming for?
Is
this like we're already on the Barkley train? Or
guesses for who the coach is, either in the chat or here.
Like in my heart of hearts, I have a few, but somebody who would actually give you strength training. So somebody who actually knows what they're doing, which is nice.
Either that or it's just in the template of the program. I don't know.
I don't think you went and just got a generic box program that was like, oh, by the way, go do 10 step-ups and some box jumps. Like that doesn't seem your style.
It's not a template. It's like it's a coach that I can talk to for sure.
Okay. Is this someone that I've met before?
Yeah, pretty sure. Must have. Yeah.
I don't know. There are a couple options. Is it somebody you've worked with before?
I think loosely a long time ago. I think it was loose.
Oh, yeah.
Long time ago. Okay.
All right. We got any guesses in the chat?
Well, yeah, Eric the Red says Sally. Well, Sally, that's a good guess on the strength component because Sally is all about the strength.
Yes, that is true.
And I desperately need the strength. I think the thing I'm supposed to watch a YouTube video of two different demonstrations, and I haven't done that yet.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it somebody who lives in Oregon?
Nope, they're local.
Like Phoenix local? Is it somebody who used to work at a running store? May still work at a running store in
Probably.
maybe off of 48th Street?
Probably.
Just like doxing this entire person.
Yeah.
just let us know who it is. What's up?
Someone Scott Burton in the chat says Laz. Yeah, Laz is my coach.
Yeah, Laz is super structured. Yeah.
James Benet. It's James Benet.
Yeah, I figured as much. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was. So he's been working with my brother, and that to me was, definitely a big plus. Yeah, I was just like, you know what, I need to work with someone. I need some sort of written program. Part of it is accountability, and part of it is saving me from myself because if you saw what my plan was this fall, it was like, I'm going to run the Pass Mountain 50 mile. Then I'm going to do the McDowell Mountain Frenzy 50 mile. Then I'm going to do the Cave Creek Thriller 50K. Then I'm going to do the Coldwater Rumble 100. And it's like, I would be broken right now. So decided to, get on board with James. And it's like, honestly, I got the first 2 weeks, and that's all I've gotten so far. And I was like, this is nothing. Like, this is a joke, like 30 to 35 miles for week 1 and week 2. I'm thinking I'm never going to get to this, I'm never going to get to Barkley if I get in shape in time. But, literally the first or second day of the program, I did a timed mile. And then I
did see that.
Yeah, I'm doing some quality and intensity. And, by the time I did my hill workout, I think last Thursday, my legs were shot. So the day off was perfectly timed. And then, honestly, with my schedule too, it's like I kind of barely have enough time for the 30 to 35 miles right now. And I'm sure as I build momentum, I'm going to want to carve out that additional time and make sure I get it done. But I can tell you what, yesterday, the run I did, if it wasn't for having a coach and feeling like I don't want to let them down, I never would have got out the door, and I would have just never left the office. So, very happy.
For context, let's just pull up this Strava side by side. Where if you look at somebody else's profile, it'll tell you the last 4 weeks of stats for each of you. Sure. Your last 4 weeks, your average distance per week, which includes you
12.
Getting on the horse last week and getting over 30 miles. Which it raised your last 4 week average to 18.9 miles. So I think even 30 to 35 is a step in the right direction for you, my guy.
Well, and for me, I think someone who I've done, 8 to 12 weeks of 100-mile weeks before. I've done 130 to 140 miles in a training week. I've done a race up to 257 miles long. It's like I still have that in my body somewhere. And I think, maybe after a month or 6 weeks or something, I'm going to be able to get up to the 70s and the 80s and maybe crack 90. I think James was saying I may not even get over 100 miles in this training session, but I'm also at some point going to be doing heavy vert. So that will balance out. So I probably won't hit the huge mileage that I might think I'm capable of. But also, there's a whole rest of the year next year in 2022 after Barkley that I'm sure we'll get there. So.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the intro.
And we make the argument about time on feet all the time as ultra runners, right? That's the whole thing. It's you're walking in the woods. It's time on feet. We get it. So but you were actually putting up week 20, 30, 40, 50,000 feet of vert. And so I think, yeah, if you're doing that, you also don't need to be running 110 miles that week. Like, you're probably still putting in the time, and your base fitness, like aerobically speaking, is there. Like, you just went and ran. What was your mile time trial? Like 5:20 something?
5:25.
Yeah. So 1, go after yourself. 2, yeah, you don't.
Yeah, that's like that's
have
like a baseline. That's like a baseline with
fitness.
almost basically averaging 10 miles a week or something for a couple months.
You're the absolute worst. Well, on the plus side, I don't know how many months on this pod, probably the entire time we've been doing this podcast, almost a damn year now. I've been harassing you to, 1, have a bit of accountability, and 2, like, actually like introduce consistency into the routine. So, hey, if this is what it takes, that's cool, because there's no reason that I should be putting up in that side-by-side Strava panel more miles than you. That's a damn shame, because I am notoriously low mileage. I'm the dude who does 60 miles, like, topping out for a marathon. So there's like no reason that I should be putting up more miles than you.
Well,
I guess
we're
that's
going to be getting some miles in Austin next week. That's for sure.
Absolutely, because dude, I did the math. I realized I screwed up in my head. I was like, oh, like, I'll finish Quad Dipsy, and then I have like 10 weeks until rock and roll. That's not true. I have like 6 or 7. And I'm like, cool. So I'm going to
Are you doing the Phoenix one?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the plan.
What is the date of that?
That is, I want to say the 15th or 16th of January. Let's see. Yes, it would be the 16th.
Perfect.
For the half and full. So,
well, I'm no longer doing the Coldwater 100, so
gonna come through and crew me in a road race?
Maybe. Yeah, I'll probably come out and, like, get some B-roll for the vlog or something,
Oh, jeez. You could just run, probably, for you. It's
just run it?
Long run.
Well, no, I'm racing the 52K or the 52 mile, depending on how last person standing ATY goes.
Fair.
But
Okay.
I made a deal. I can't go over 50 miles, which means I will do 50 miles and then I will stop. Oh, shit. I shouldn't have said that, because Matt Feldake is in the freaking chat and I just blew it. So now everyone, like, the mind games can't even be there, and the surprise, shoot. Can we shut it down? Just shut it down.
Let's be
Unplug
real.
it.
One, Matt's not listening anymore.
He comes in, he
checked out.
drops an LFG, and he goes to bed.
Probably true.
Rob is in the chat, though. Rob says he's going to win now. Maybe it's all a decoy. Maybe I just said that to fool you.
Let me put it this way. As somebody who has oftentimes been told by Jamil that we're only going to run a certain distance, and that distance has never been true, I wouldn't take him at his word for 50 miles. Need I remind you of the original drop bag challenge where that course was a quarter mile? Yeah.
Times 4.
Yeah, thanks, Jamil.
Anything I say times 4.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like if I walk a lap, that doesn't count towards the run lap. So take that for what it's worth.
Okay.
All right, Matt says I can do mile reps at 12-minute pace for literal eternity.
Sure. I don't know if your stomach and its digestive tract will agree with that, but on balance, yeah, maybe your legs can. Sure.
LPS,
These are the things I think about.
LPS beer race. That's where it's at.
Dude, that would be rough. Very entertaining, though. Now that you bring it up.
Sounds illegal.
Oh, yeah. No, the liability on that would be insane. But, hey, that's what waivers are for. Sure.
You get a strong enough waiver, you can do anything you want.
Yeah, tell that to every company during the housing crisis? Question mark?
Okay.
I don't know. I was in college. I don't know what the hell was happening. Just paying for my dorm room. Cool. Yeah, no, this will be exciting. Which means yes, we will actually get runs in together next week. Hopefully. So long as my legs are functional enough.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Let's set up the structure of the rest of this podcast because I feel like we've been jumping around. We're going to talk about TRE. So we touched on my training a little bit.
Yeah.
You, sir, are running Quad Dipsy this weekend.
Correct.
That's exciting.
Oh, you just want to get into it? Yeah, no, it's a thing.
I don't know. I'm just trying to segue into something to get off of talking about my stuff.
No. We're going to focus on you because that's what the people want. Yeah, no. Well, okay. So to signpost a bit, yes, we can talk about quad and getting ready for that, and then
let's talk about like race calendars through the rest of the year. We dabbled on it a little bit. So you just ran New York. There is a podcast that we recorded that will drop probably at 2 a.m. tonight or something. Much
like the first podcast we recorded that never got released.
Never got dropped. So
we got blacklisted episodes basically. I just do a snap recap. New York, best executed race I've ever had. Basically ran even splits from first half to second half. Just ran a bunch of 21:20 to 21:45 Ks, and within 4 days I was basically back to feeling like normal, with the exception of a slow quad twinge, but had to push through it because I had 20 days from the New York City Marathon to Quad Dipsy. Quad Dipsy is this Saturday, 2 days after Thanksgiving. So I get to protein load on like ham and turkey on Thursday, get to carb load Friday, and then go run 28 plus miles and damn near 9,000 feet of gain on Saturday morning, because that's what you do after training for 2 road marathons in the past 2 months. So yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. Got a bunch of SFRC running team teammates out there. Nick's going to be out there. Nick Handel, who was 3rd at Broken Arrow, if I remember correctly, and was like top American at OCC. So clearly, I'm just going to let him. I have no thoughts that I'm going to win this damn race. So let him go. He can low stick for our team. Then we got Jose Cruz and David Lamb out there on the men's side for SFRC as well. So, you know, if we have a good day as a team, I don't even score, which would be awesome, I guess. Really, I'm just going in trying to, 1, come out healthy. 2, make sure that I run a faster time than we did when we did that challenge at Quad Dipsy with the eating of the most worst holiday foods and carrying the reindeer. Because if I can't run faster than I did after eating dried out pumpkin pie, then I gotta reevaluate my athletic career.
Gravy.
So
Crisp and Flower Day is curious. Is the reindeer coming out to the quad?
I'm not running with it, but will it make an appearance? Probably. Let's be real.
Probably should.
Yeah. It seems only appropriate. Yeah. But Crispin's gonna be out there. He's probably gonna kick my ass. So good luck to him. I mean, doesn't he have like? I'm pretty sure he has like multiple sub 5 hour finishes, and I think that, given the weather conditions that have been in the Bay Area recently, like this should be a very dry, a significantly drier course than we had by a long shot. And I think that other than whatever the hell the bridge situation is in terms of crossing the water right now, everything else should be just dry and ready to run. So I think that we're going to see some fast times out there this year. I don't know about for me necessarily. We'll see what the legs can do, but had a pretty good week of training last week. For me, 60 miles and 6,000 feet of gain is a pretty healthy week. So I'm ready to rock, man. And then we'll try to get my legs back under me Sunday, hop on a plane Monday, and then hang out in Texas and run some really flat river miles and whatever the hell else you sign me up for.
Yep. Perfect. Speaking of Thomas Bowling, real quick, just to answer your question in the chat, is there a plan for a Mountain Outpost get-together at the running event?
You want to unveil it now, or you want to?
I mean, we might as. I mean, what else? Let's wrap up. We will get to that. Let's wrap up the rest of our years. So, you're doing Quad Dipsy. What else? Anything in December, or is it just all focused on rock and roll in January after that?
So, we have the Indy 5K, or I have the Indy 5K at the running event. So 5 days after Quad Dipsy, I'll try to rip a 5K, just see where my legs are at, get them waked up again. And then I just have a big training block to get into January. So I might end up running some 30K or marathon thing here in California before before heading to Colorado for the holidays. But for the most part, nothing with real serious goals until January. I did put my name in the hat for USATF 2022 cross country champs the week before rock and roll, because nothing says, hey, feel bad about yourself, like almost getting lapped on a 10K course by legitimate pros. But figure if only 9 people showed up to the 100K road championships, maybe that'll happen for cross, and all of a sudden I slide into like miscellaneous prize money. Who knows? Just run my like 37-minute 10K. But no, I'm gonna try to rip one out there. Just to, haven't run a good 10K. Well, I haven't run a good 10K ever, but I haven't run a true 10K in years. So hopefully, the schedule aligns so I can make that happen, and then turn it to rock and roll. So it's gonna be a busy next 7.5 or 8 weeks or whatever it is, and then from there we got some other fun things forthcoming in the spring. But that's it for me. What you got on the docket, sir?
Oh man, let's see here. We've got I'll probably jog the Indy 5K. Don't know that I will treat that as a race unless we get the okay, but probably not. Right after the running event, I am doing the McDowell Mountain Frenzy 25K. So not quite as exciting as the 50K or the 50 mile, but at least I get out there and do a race. And then 2 weeks after that is the Cave Creek Thriller 24K. So these are part of the Desert Runner Trail series here in Phoenix area. I was going to do the 50K at that, and we're just downgrading it for now. And then probably jump in. I mean, this weekend I'm jumping in the Black Canyon training runs. So those are kicking off for this next year's race. And I'm actually only doing part of the training run this weekend. Look at this. This is a weird world I'm living in. I don't know what's happening. But I will duck out after, I think, the first 12 miles or something. And then just go into support crew mode. And then that brings us up to the end of December. I will be participating in the last person standing event at Across the Years. So anyone out there listening, please come join us. It's on New Year's Day at high noon. We're battling it out 1.04 miles at a time every 15 minutes. We've got a big tent set up at Camelback Ranch for everyone to set up their own little aid station setups, and we'll be starting every 15 on the 15 minutes, and it should be a good time. We've got Matt and Rob in the chat both participating. Jeff Garmeyer is participating. We're looking for more people. We're trying to get a bunch of the Air Viper Racing Team members to come out and just see what happens, and kind of just, it's almost like a big group run. So, who knows? You might go 50K, you might go 50 miles, 100 miles, or maybe you'll go further than I did 2 years ago, which I think was like 135 miles or something. So, yeah.
Sweet.
That's the plan.
I have to come out and say, hey.
Yeah, I'm already beyond the year, so I've already overextended myself.
It's fine. It's fine. Everybody's fine. It's going to be a good time. This might be the first time in podcast history that we're both actively running at the same time and like on an upswing. So this could be fun to follow.
Yeah. I'm going to do everything I can to do it. What did we do last year? We did we ran in Austin. What did we do? Like a 15 minutes on the treadmill or something like that?
2 years ago. Yeah, that was literally it. We ran for 15 minutes on the treadmill, and that was it. In fairness, I was only there for like one night or whatever it was.
You were there one night, yeah. This is going to be interesting because it's like 3 nights. Yeah.
Sharing a room.
Yeah.
This is the most time we will have spent together since I'm pretty sure the like smoked out North Face week.
Yeah.
And then we ended up going to like Tahoe area, running the Donner Party 50K.
Yep.
50K? Yeah, that was it. And like I think that was the most time that we spent.
Well, I think we did 20 miles. We didn't even do the full thing. We just did like a loop.
No. Of course not. Of course not. Mostly because always out of
Ooh.
shape. So yeah.
Check this out. Rob Ricardo, he
Mm-hmm.
says he's stoked for last person standing. He did a 40-mile training run on his neighborhood loop the other day. So Matt was telling me about this. Apparently Rob, he staked out like a mile up in Anthem.
Loop. Okay.
And I don't know if he was doing it like every 15, but maybe he can enlighten us a little bit more. But he's taking it seriously. The rivalry is growing. The Matt v. Rob, I guess, versus me. I'm in there too. I might have shown my cards already. Whatever.
Good.
So, yeah.
Nah, look, Rob is just like he's just hitting on all cylinders. He's just crushing the music scene. Just had like a great show down in Phoenix. He's like working on new music. He's crushing the running.
Well, and
He does look bad.
all the music in the Cocodona doc that just dropped, inaugural year, all Rob Ricardo. So I think there's a playlist that has all of the songs from that film on it on Spotify.
Sweet.
Let's go check that out. And running event. Circling back to the question, is there a plan for a get-together at the running event, Mountain Outpost style?
In true Mountain Outpost style, loosely, there's a plan. Yeah, so I think the plan is if you are attending the running event as a exhibitor or speaker or vendor or anything, we do have a live session that we're doing on the trailhead on Thursday, which will likely be kind of our normal weekly situation. But we still want to hang out with the locals of Austin, even if you're not going to be officially a part of the running event. So we're going to head down to Rainey Street on Tuesday night, this normal time block, adjusted for time zones, I guess. But yeah, so we're aiming for 6:00 down on Rainey Street. I think we landed on Container Bar, but I just said it out loud, so I guess that's what we're doing now.
You just landed it there. Container Bar,
Cool.
6 p.m. Tuesday in Austin.
Yes, Tuesday the 30th, the 1st? What, I don't even know what the dates are.
Sounds right.
We're going to go with the 30th. Yes, November 30th, 6 p.m., Container Bar. Not that we've cleared it with Container Bar at all, but that's how we do it. Just
Well, I feel like
always functioning.
I feel like it'll be fine. It's a Tuesday
Yeah.
night. We're
Bringing them business, and typically we're trusting you all to not be the worst. So be cool. Just be chill, be cool, and we'll be all right. But yeah, no, that's the plan. So tell a friend to tell a friend. We're not doing like a group run as a part of it. Obviously, if folks wanted, like locals, if you're like, hey, like we're just go run along the river and then end up there, cool, that's fine. Our schedule doesn't quite allow for it that day, but we want to still hang out with you guys, have a good time, and see. So any details forthcoming, we'll drop into the Discord. So if you're not on the Aravaipa Running /Steep Life Discord, make sure you find that information. We'll put it in the description of the YouTube video, as well as, I guess, Instagram, our respective Instagram channels. So you can hop in the Discord, and we'll post any updates on the Austin text channel in that server. And it's also just a good place to hang out because we discuss all of the Aravaipa virtual events, all of the live events, in-person events. If we do a live stream, we got special things that we're doing for Vertmas, which kicks off the day after the hangout. So yeah, hop in the Discord, and that's always a good time. But specifically to Austin, we will make sure that all the specific details and any last minute changes are thrown in there so we can see you guys in person, hang out, high five or whatever, and just like talk running, life, and the pursuit of happiness in this wild sport that we all enjoy.
Love it. It's
Cool.
going to be a good time. Where do we go from here? It's a question.
Joe, we got to talk about, dude, it was a busy couple weeks that we missed in terms of racing. So we should probably recap and just talk about the craziness of the running world. Since we last were together, what's happened? Tunnel Hill, JFK, what used to be the North Face event kind of popped off in the Bay Area. We could talk about that. That's all just like run steep stuff. On the run flat side, we had cross country regional and nationals for all divisions. So I'm going to let you, sir, go ahead and take it away. Should we start with Tunnel Hill and work our way up? Does that make the most sense?
Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
Now I just got to actually pull up the results.
Listen, here's what I do know. Taggart didn't go sub 12, didn't go sub 13, didn't finish. That's what I know. That's what I know.
Yeah. So what did
that's
happen?
the one thing
What did happen, which was amazing. Yeah, Taggart did end up dropping, but this was like billed as the Taggart versus Zach Bitter rivalry we've always wanted. Side note: driving back from dropping my kid off to school this morning, saw Zach Bitter running on Glendale Avenue right by the canal. So shout out to him. I wasn't able to honk or roll my window down in time to say hi. Shout it out. Phil Young came out victorious. He actually passed Zach Bitter at mile 97 of the race. He put 3 minutes on him. Won in 12:44. Zach Bitter was second in 12:47. And then Jacob Moss, 12:54. Yes. 3 men under 13 hours in the same race, and I believe this is the first time this has happened in like decades, which is pretty rad. Taggart, a little overcooked probably from the Indianapolis Marathon the week prior where he ran a 2:22, and he dropped around mile 70 and retired from the sport of ultra for now until the USATF 100-mile championships in Henderson, Nevada in February. Be there, be square. Let's do it. For the women, Stephanie Flippin, not a surprise, 14:35 to win. That was her time at the USATF 100-mile road to national championship, which I was just talking about at the Jackpot Ultras. She ran 14:04 at Tunnel Hill this year.
Okay. So
the last time she ran Tunnel Hill 100, she won it in 15:55. So we're talking an hour and 51-minute improvement. That's amazing. Don't know what else to say, but she was way ahead of second and
dominant.
third. So Stephanie Flippin, that is a name to remember. Other notes is Jacob Moss will be running Desert Solstice coming up, which we're not talking about that today, but we will talk about it definitely next week in our, I guess it's like our live show. It's a live show. It may not be broadcast live to the internet, but live show at the running event, which is going to be this podcast live version. Check it out. Okay, Tunnel Hill. That was Tunnel Hill.
Sweet. Lit it up usual. And then it's wild to me that these two races are on back-to-back weekends between Tunnel Hill and JFK. Yes, I realize that JFK is half the distance, but it seems like there are huge storylines that come out of both races. And it's too much. You're just trying to process Tunnel Hill, and all of a sudden, like, everybody and their mom shows up to JFK and blitzes it. And it's like the perfect mix of folks who are these fast road individuals, like the folks who would do well at a Tunnel Hill, and people who are like, yeah, but I also can climb like a bat out of hell, and like just merge together. It's dope. Here's the thing. So much happened this weekend that I just like spaced on JFK until Sunday morning. I was like, oh, damn. That was a race that happened yesterday. And it was like scrolling through Instagram. Looked like people had a good time. Looked like a lot of people felt like they ended their 2021 season on a high note. But what actually happened out there?
Yeah, well, let's see here. Zach Beaven, which I think, Adam Peterman was also a favorite, but Zach Beaven probably a favorite. And it sounds like he was leading quite a bit. Steadily increased his lead to finish. Wait, what? Sorry.
I know Zach finished second.
Yeah. Oh,
you know that
Adam
for sure.
Peterman destroyed everyone, basically. That's the story. Adam Peterman destroyed everyone. I think this was like the second fastest time
That sounds right.
ever to
Second or
Hayden
third,
Hawks, I believe. So 5:19:38, number 2 performance in race history. And Zach Beaven was second in 5:35. So Adam Peterman continuing his rise in the sport of ultramarathon running. Speed Goat champion earlier this year. He had a bit of an off day at Pikes Peak Marathon, but still was in third or fourth, maybe second or fourth. I don't know. Too many events going down, but the top 5 guys under 5:46, but Adam Peterman way out front in that 5:19. Yeah.
The thing I did see from Zach Beaven, was he like 7th last year, or like in some? I feel like he had recently been top 10. Like that was kind of his breakout. But here's the thing: when you like still step your game up and run a lights out performance and end up losing by like 15 minutes in a 50 mile, 20 minutes in a story 50 mile, that's like it's hard to take moral victories, but like you kind of have to take a moral victory in that moment, right? Like, hey, like I'm still clearly on the upswing. It's just a bad beat. It's just a bad beat to come up against somebody who's having a lights out day. I mean, it's the same thing we felt about most everything against Camille at Javelina, where it's like, hey, you could do whatever the hell you wanted that day. There was just no chance that you were going to have to pull out a W there. So
this looks like it's Zach's first JFK. So
okay, he did something last year.
So he's done a few things. So he's been going after Strolling Jim. So Strolling Jim, a couple of years in 2019, he ran the 4:07, and then he broke the record. I think that's the record, right? 3:55 this year.
Yeah. Okay, that's what it was.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, he broke Andy Jones's like quote unquote unbreakable record of 3:59 by a margin.
Yeah.
And then Tunnel Hill, that was his breakout race to me, I think was Tunnel Hill a year ago. That was the same race that Taggart Van Etten ran his like 12-hour 100-miler, and Zach ran a 5:03.
Yep.
So that's like, it was like Strolling Jim in 4:07, Tunnel Hill 50 and 5:03, Strolling Jim in 3:55, and then he's had no other races this year. He's going for JFK. And JFK is a little bit of a different race than those. There is that section on the Appalachian Trail, and Peterman definitely is used to the trails. He just won the Moab Trail Marathon, I believe. So Zach maybe a little bit newer to that. The only races he's ever run are in Kentucky, Tennessee, and Illinois prior to this. So
don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on him. I'm telling you, this is. But Adam, hey, good look on him. Good look for Hoka. I'm sure they appreciated the sponsor W.
When it's a Brooks race.
Yeah, just come out and stunt. Dude, are we at the point where we have basically all the information for Ultra Runner and Ultra Performance of the Year? Like, were
we talking about that yet? Well, what we don't have yet is Desert Solstice.
Correct. But other than that, like is there anything notable left?
I mean, I would like to think that McDowell Mountain Frenzy is notable, but I do understand that it is not like the highest race on the list or the most competitive field. But yeah, Desert Solstice, I think once JFK is over, Desert Solstice is the thing to watch. Well, no, that's not true. I take back those words. Let me take them back. Brazos Bend.
Okay, yes. I was like, I feel like there's a USATF race.
Yep. Brazos Bend 100 is coming
next
up
weekend.
On lottery day. So the same day as McDowell Mountain Frenzy. And they have 71 entrants in the USATF Trail Championship. Mark Hammond is going to be there. Jim Sweeney is going to be there. There's a bunch of names that I straight up just don't recognize. On the women's side, I don't know. They're like Texas names. I'm new to the Texas scene, so trying to figure it out. Kaylee Demergen, Liza Howard.
Oh, bouncing back. Good for her.
Stephanie Flippin, bouncing back.
Oh, damn. All right.
Yep. So I don't know. Maybe we'll rub elbows with some of these folks at the running event, and maybe we can get the inside scoop for the channel. Maybe we can do some Jam interview scoop. We should just do Jam spoof stuff. I'll bring a suit jacket. It'll be great.
Okay. I'll trust you that you can figure it out. Yeah, I guess that is normally right after the running event. Yeah. No. All right. So we got to do a bunch of research and prepare for. We got to preview that next week for sure. Figure out what the hell's happening. So cool. Good. All right. Well, we're pretty close to ultra performance and ultra run of the year. Like we almost have the entire body of knowledge.
Yeah.
Like
but we said we're not talking about it this week, correct? On the pod, we're waiting.
Correct. We got. We need all the information. We can't just be like, hey, this person needs to run this time to slide in. That's pointless.
We need to be like, hey, Arlen Glick should have this on lock, but because of biases towards other races, he's probably not going to get any near the number of votes that he deserves.
Well, that actually is probably true. But we will also have to figure out what the hell happened to the black box of votes from last year that never came out. So who knows? Are we going to do 2 versions? Are we going to go 20 deep this year to make up for the lack of
the votes were
Ultra of the year?
Weren't the votes cast? But they were never released. And they weren't. It wasn't going to happen, and then it did happen, and then it was never talked about again.
Yeah, where this is the information that the people need is what are we covering up as an ultra community? What happened in those votes that we're hiding from the people? This is either the first season of Scandal, or I don't know. There's probably a Veep episode out of this, but our podcast basically started right when the voting was occurring. So I know that votes were cast last year, and we need to figure out what's up. And hey, listen, I'm just gonna throw this out here. Didn't run this by you at all. It might be time to start bringing back ultra bromance and womance, or bro-womance. Whatever, you can figure out how to write it.
The bromance and womance of the year.
Yeah. I mean, it could be a male.
How did that one work again?
Care.
It was people. Oh yeah, bros. Yeah. Well, just
love.
I've already got a perfect nominee. You know it. We just talked about this earlier before the show started. Footy.
Oh,
Peterman.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
For those not following along as to our stream of consciousness, Mike Foote had an Instagram post this week talking about how back in 2012, when he was an assistant cross country coach, one of his athletes was Mr. Peterman, who just won JFK by that handed, demolition. And Peterman had this whole goal of being human powered from Death Valley to the peak of Mount Whitney. It was a whole thing. You can go read Mike Foote's Instagram post, but he had a proud coach moment, which I can appreciate as a coach myself. I was like, all right, cool. You want to support your athletes in that moment. And even damn near a decade later, still celebrate their successes. So yes, that is a welcome, healthy addition. I will say Solomon also did drop that long shorts video on YouTube with the story of both Courtney and Francois trying to do the Hard Rock to UTMB double, and that Jim Walmsley Francois Den bromance.
It's real.
Also has got to be in the running. That was quite entertaining. So
I feel like there's got to be a Debo Ryan Thrower bromance.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
honestly,
it's a coworker thing.
Would also be a thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They've been killing the game.
But that's being broken up for UTCT coming up. Ultra Trail Cape Town. Emily Hawgood and Dylan Bowman are doing the live stream remotely, apparently.
I mean,
let's talk
if
more.
There's somebody to slide in for a Cape Town thing.
Random stream of consciousness. Now we're hopping back. We just had Madeira Island Ultra Trail. Okay, was this weekend. Yeah. We're talking live streams now. So this was kind of a funny find because it popped up on my YouTube recommended. It was like the MIUT live stream. Checked it out. It was 12 hours long. I'm like, wow, they got a legit production going down here. And like it started off strong, drone shots, commentators on like with badges like right on the start line. You know, they got commentators watching what's going down. And then like I kind of start scrubbing through to see just like a rough idea. And at like 2 hours and 20 minutes in, they switched to like pre-recorded tourism content and like promotional videos about Madeira and like the island. And then these play on a loop. It's like tourism and they're talking about industry and all these things that are going on. And that content plays for the next 5 hours until like 7 hours and 20 minutes into the stream. And then like the commentators just like come right back on. And it's like, this is great.
Listen,
it was a valiant effort.
Hey, don't bite the hand that feeds, I guess. So if Madeira Tourism was paying for the live stream and making it happen, then give them what they want, I guess. But there's also it's all right. Now this is gonna sound like I'm just dunking on people, but like UTWT is putting out or has been putting out this series of videos chronicling like the year's worth of races, but there seems to be like no through line to them. Have you watched any of these, or am I just like talking? Yeah,
no, I need to.
Don't need to.
I've been in a bit of a bubble lately, but yes, I need to check them out.
It kind of just like, hey, you know when Iron Man does the like Kona World Championships recap, and it's like, all right, we're going to follow a few storylines, but also like just give you the high points of the race and don't really get too in depth. And all of a sudden, like, oh, like somebody broke and like here's a race. It kind of feels like that, but just like, okay, this happened at this race, and then we're going to do the exact same template at the next race and the exact same template at the next race. And it's just like, it's hard to like get invested when you like keep stuff. It's a whole thing. Whatever. Listen, I'm just saying, as a sport, we need to continue to progress to celebrate the great things that are happening while also providing an engaging experience to bring new people in. Like, that's it. I know. We're trying. We're doing our best. But
we're trying to move the needle a little bit.
But we still have some conversations that, you know what, we might need to have this might be one of the things that we need to talk about with our MUT folks at the running event. Like, hey, like 2021 has been a pretty banner year in terms of exposure for the sport, right? Like in terms of like live streams and like content just rolling out, we got more people putting things out. That's great. How do we like, I don't want to say quality control, but like, how do we ensure that this upward slope continues to bring more fans in, casual fans, folks who might be doing other endurance type sports and be like, oh, like just running through the woods is also a cool adventure. Like, we need to have that moment where we can continue to bring folks in. We're putting a lot of weight on Courtney's shoulders. The only person who can get a Joe Rogan and Bear Performance podcast slot from the Ultra Road. So we gotta.
Hey, let's shout out Nick Bear.
Yeah.
Nick Bear, come on out, the Container Bar, or we'll come to BPN. You know, let's do it. That'd be a good time.
I'll try to do some trap bar deadlifts and rip my back out, spine straight out.
We'll pop into the BPN gym real quick and try the latest, electrolyte formula that's underway. It'll be great.
It'll be good.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got here, but
we should also just go to the Terra Factory or something, like all the things to do in Austin, the whole tour. Talking about the bromance, womance of the year, we got fans of Courtney and Maggie in the chat. Now there's like talk of a couples award, like a crushing couple. Like, who's killing it? Avery and Sabrina, maybe? I don't know. No idea.
I'm always wary of celebrating couples in the event that they break up. But that being said, that's just me always being overly anxious. But yes, like we can obviously also celebrate couples that are out there publicly celebrating. Yeah, we can do that too.
All right, we got hella sidetracked, so we're gonna bring it right back around. And thank you to Nick in the chat. He's like, shout out the JFK women. Yes, did not mean to miss that. So Sarah Cummings is your winner. She was your runner-up for JFK50, and from last year. Sorry, weird train of thought. Sarah Beal was second in 6:22. Devin Yanko, after her Javelina unfortunate DNF, ran a 6:31 for third place. Kimber Maddox 6:41 in fourth, and Christina Randrup, who was leading over halfway through, ended up fading to fifth this year at JFK.
Christina, Bay Area local, has run the Skyline 50K significantly far in front of me on several occasions. Yes, I did hear that she was leading early on, and I was like, that's interesting, because I would imagine her strengths would have been on the back half. So kudos to her for just like straight up shooting her shot. It'll be interesting to see what her next foray is, because I think this is the first like quote unquote big time race that she's done.
So
she might have hopped over a Black Canyon.
She did. She raced Black Canyon in 2020.
Okay.
Like the year we focused like our coverage on the women's race. She was in that one, but I don't think had the day she was hoping for there. So, but she has had some great performances. She won AR50 this year?
Yeah. Oh no, she's like wildly talented for sure. It just, most of her races happen to be in California. Also, in fairness, most people weren't traveling for the last year and a half, so not going to knock her for that. She's a name to watch, and she's like still wildly young. I think she's her mid-20s. So
23. So yeah. second at Lake Sonoma this year. She's racing a lot this year for sure. American River 50, she won that in 7:18. So yeah, kind of. She was 11th at Black Canyon in 2020, and that was, I think, her first 100K. So she's still kind of, getting a hang of the longer distances, but want to watch
crazy,
for sure.
Crazy talents. Yeah, I mean, she was doing ultras when she was like 19. Like she was like, I'm not doing this.
18. She ran Skyline 50K at 18. Yep. And got second place.
To, I believe, was that the year EO ran? So,
yep.
There you go. Yeah. Let me put it this way. I've never beat her. So, I'm pretty sure that's actually true, which is something I got to work on. Things are going for her. I don't know if that'll happen. So we'll see. But yeah, no, she's on the come up. So in terms of me representing the Bay Area folks, I will keep her close at heart to make sure that we celebrate her, give her flowers accordingly.
Oh, we've got some more couples. There's a lot of couples chat now. We got the Bitters. You got Tyler Green and Rachel Drake. Yes, got it. Whew, I almost forgot it. You got Amanda Basham and Justin Grunwald. Some good couples there. Power couples. For sure.
This could be a bracket.
Sounds like we got a little bit of beta on Christina here. Horrible stomach issues at Black Canyon, and then also stomach issues at JFK. So we need to get someone to chat with her, figure this out. I mean, I'm not one because I'm probably got my own issues, but
it'll be interesting. Listen, I think I might have actually seen her also on the start list for quad, which would be a wild turnaround in 7 days. Like, I'm gonna fly back across the country and then go
Brazos
run quad
Bend 100. Let's do it.
That might be a stretch. way too cool. I could see her popping off AR-50 again.
Black
Is
Canyon.
the 100? Is the hunt? She might be in the entrance list for Black Canyon. She should be if she's not, because
I might have
shoot
to
your
check
shot at
the
a golden
wait list.
ticket. Yeah, it'll be legit. But that women's race is also pretty insane. We got to shout out Beaven. I mean, to bounce back from that DNF at Javelina, you know, like celebrated the fact, like, hey, like you can thrive out of a DNF. Like in the days directly after Javelina, she was like, listen, like you got to know when to pull the plug, and like a DNF is not a loss. A DNF is like, it's a reframing and moving forward. And then to come back and have the performance that she did in the midst of like all the other things she has going on in her life and moving and all that, like just straight up crusher. So good stuff.
Yeah, it's like a combination of probably stressful and not stressful. Like you don't have structure, but you don't have a lot of responsibilities at the moment, so you're kind of a perfect combo. But yeah, 3 weeks after having to pull the plug at Javelina to turn around and run here is definitely great.
That's what's up.
Yep.
What else happened this weekend? We had cross country. You want me to talk that while you figure out what the hell happened with
I've got one.
Oh, yeah,
I've got one real quick. So the FADOX 48-hour took place at Nardini Manor, and Olivier Leblond was going for the American record at 48 hours, and he was way, way ahead of that. So he ran 147, I think, or something ridiculous in the first 24 hours on the gravel Nardini path, which is super high for that course. Might have been one of the highest ever recorded on that course. One of the most talented runners, probably besides like a Giannis Kouros, to toe the line there. I mean, granted, there's lots of amazing runners there, but and then he was starting his day 2 running faster than day 1. He like cranked it down to 9-minute miles or something from 9:20s. Anyways, he ended up pulling the plug at 201 miles with plenty of time on the clock. He still won the race by a significant margin, but didn't go the way he wanted to at the end of it.
Hey, listen, just seeing the Instagram post coming out from like the 24-hour team, they were like, listen, he's got 16 hours to go and he only has to go 100K or like whatever it was. Like it was
like less than 50 miles and he had 16 hours. It's like you could walk that, and still take a nap. I don't know. On that course, like zero gain. Yeah.
I mean, 500 meters and some weird chicanes in the middle of it. Like it's not a barn burner of a course typically, which is why
it's what he did
was so damn impressive.
Yeah. A lot of turns.
But yeah, no. Is he coming out for Solstice?
No, I don't. No, he did this instead.
Okay.
He better have.
Because I'm wondering, like how much time does he have to rebound? Because I feel like he's going to be. We went over this a couple weeks ago about what the hell happened to the 24-hour team, and like now they have to completely regroup and reestablish their spots, or they have to get back on the team again.
It's all been wiped basically.
So if this is him throwing down just like hey, here's where I'm at. Y'all better step your game up. That's a pretty ballsy way to do it, I must say. So I'm excited to see what he can pull together. But yeah, I guess he really has no pressure because we have quite some time until he would need to make the team and then go to Worlds. So yeah, shoot your shot early and often and then bounce back and live to fight another day.
Cool. That's all I got from the weekend.
So in Run Flat news, it's really just there was a world half marathon record again. This happens like every 4 weeks, it feels like. But took off Kilowatt Candies by a second. It's fine, whatever. Cross country. That's what we care about because it's basically trail running for people who would rather run 6 miles or less. All 3 divisions had their NCAA championships this weekend. If you didn't watch it, all the Division 1 races are actually now on YouTube, so you can watch them in their entirety. We'll run through it real quick. So on the Division I side, the women of NC State just absolutely dominated. They won with 84 points over BYU. Whitney Orton from BYU was your individual champion. New Mexico and Colorado were third and fourth place to round out that podium race. And then when Whitney Orton went, she just blew the whole damn thing up. But that NC State pack was so tight and just rolled in together to come through for the victory. On the men's side, NAU with a just stellar team performance wins the men's championship over 10 kilometers with 92 points, beating out Iowa State, which was a relatively surprise second place team. Oklahoma State and Arkansas rounding out your podium there. Stanford, quite a surprise for men, just podium, but a good day for the men of Stanford, but NAU with their fifth victory in the last 6 years, basically the Chicago Bulls of the 2010s and 2020s cross country scene, I guess the best way to put it. And then on the individual side, Connor Mantz from BYU repeats as your NCAA champion, and you got to watch the finish of this race if you have not seen it yet, because if you want to see just what straight grit looks like in a 10K, it's this race. Because
which one was this?
The 2021 D1 Men's Championship. It is like Connor goes, and then Athanas Kyoko of Campbell just makes this move and just all right, I'm gone. This is my moment. And he's he's off the front, and then Connor Mantz is all right, I guess I got to throw one more surge in. Comes up to Athanas, and then Athanas is this is gonna go bad for me, and you just literally just see him shut down. He's running next to Connor Mantz, and just it's and then Connor Mantz just runs away from him, and Kyoko aids back. Gets passed by Wesley Kiptoo as well. It's a good watch. Also a painful watch if you were a fan of Cooper Tier and the Oregon Ducks. After the show is done, I'm actually dropping a video around the sights and sounds from the West Regionals, of which obviously Oregon competed in. Cooper, you're going to see him a bunch of times in that video. So everybody was like, hey, he's a threat to win the individual championship. He was up there in that front pack for 8K, 9K. He was up there for quite some time. And then cut to the finish line. He's not coming across. And you see him do what we've seen almost many ultra runners do at the end of races, where they just have no legs. He's leaning over. He fell down. He couldn't get up. He's trying to stand, has literally no legs underneath him, falls down again, crawls for 30 meters. Yeah, you got to watch it.
I
it
did
was
see
insane
that
if
clip.
you haven't seen it.
Yep.
So, brutal to watch as a person who's fourth at the Olympic trials in the 5K, no stranger to high pressure. Just brutal to watch. So if you just want to see all sides of a good race in 30 minutes or less, then the Division I NCAA Cross Country Championship is for you. On the Division II side, for the women, Adams State with the win. Pretty solid, 59 points total. Very impressive to win over Grand Valley State. Augustana and Colorado School of Mines round out the podium on the women's side, over 6K. On the men's side, you had Grand Valley State flip the tables on Adams State. They came out with the win, 43 points, going one in that race. Just absolutely insane. It was actually impressive because Valley State also took first and second on the women's side. And it was the first time, I think, in NCAA history of any level that you had the same school take first and second in an NCAA championship over cross country. So on the men's side, Grand Valley State 1, Adams State 2, Colorado School of Mines 3, and Augustana is your fourth place finisher on the podium. In Division 3, obviously, the one I care the most about as a former D3 athlete, Johns Hopkins on the women's side, a true dynasty. absolute dynasty, has won more NCAA titles than any school in any division on the women's side, coming through with a 2-point victory over Claremont Mudd Scripps. Suni Geneseo was third, and Wartburg, I don't know why I said it like that, rounded out the podium. The Eves of Williams took seventh with one All-American performance by Miss Gerard. But on the men's side, Pomona Pitzer also repeats as national champion. 80 points for the win over a relative surprise MIT team. I think they were ranked like 5th or 6th coming to the weekend. Really overperformed with strong pack running. Literally their 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th runners went 23rd, 24th, 25th, 28th. So just like they just moved up as a group throughout the race to take 2nd place. The Williams College Eves take 3rd on the back of a runner-up performance by Elias Lindgren and a 4th place performance by Aiden Ryan. And then John Carroll was 4th on the back of your overall champion, Mr. Phillip. So shout out to all the podium teams, just stunting and having a good time. These are also like across all divisions, some of the fastest cross-country times we've ever seen. I'm pretty sure it was a Division III record for men and women. It was a Division I record on the men's side for 10K, like just lights out performances all over. So the pandemic year and all this extra training really helped out. And a throwback that we got to shout out, the NAIA championships, not NCAA, but also they give scholarship money. So if you got a high schooler who's like, hey, I don't think I can run for D1 or D2, look at those NAIA schools. Zuhair Talbi. We talked about him a lot in the spring during the podcast from our Trials and Miles days, because he was just like showing up and just like winning a bunch of races. The Oklahoma City Cat wins your national championship. So good to see that he's still doing big things, and just overall just dominating performance, wins over his teammate by like 13 seconds over AK. So got to shout him out. And then in terms of shout outs, Embry Riddle up there in Prescott, maybe it's Prescott Valley legally speaking, but got to shout out some Arizona love. They took 13th and 14th respectively between the genders at the NAIA championships. So boom, boom. That's it. That was cross in a nutshell. Cross-country season is over for college, but not for the pros. We got National USATF Club Championship happening the same weekend as Brazos Bend. We have the Mount Sac championships that are happening for just a whole bunch of pro teams. I think Bowerman's there, Tin Man's there. Roots is going to be there. Like there are a bunch of pro teams. There's like actually fielding squads. Should be dope. And then we got some open cross-country championships happening in January. So that's Run Flat happenings over the past week. That's it. That's all I got. What's happening? What do people want to talk about? We're getting close to the end of this show. So if you don't want to, if you don't want us to go, put comments and questions and thoughts in the chat, and we will address them.
Yeah, there's some chatter about 2022 goals, A race. We've got Run Rabbit Run 100 under 30 hours from Chad Adams. We've got the Dos Senderos 100K, Thomas Bowling. A lot of people are waiting to see what happens on December 4th with a couple lotteries and Bandera 100K. So it sounds like we got some Texas people in the chat.
Tejas.
Yeah, Tejas. We a little bit more Run Steep type news. We talked about MIUT, Madeira Island Ultra Trail. That did take place, Ultra Trail World Tour. One of the last ones of those. 115K, Hans Naumberger of Germany won in 14 flat. And then Hillary Allen of the U.S. Was the winner for the ladies in 17-18. Other than that, I was trying to find results for the Golden Gate Trail Classic, which is the Spartan event in San Francisco. And let's see here.
Which had some drama before it even happened. There was a controversy with their race director or former race director going into that. So folks in the Bay Area scene probably had a little bit more insight into it. But basically, one of the local trail running RDs had moved over to Spartan to assist with this Golden Gate trail race. And then 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks before the race weekend is supposed to occur, basically comes out with a huge apology to the running community of the Bay Area, and just throws Spartan under the bus. And it's just like, hey, listen, like I've been doing all this work, haven't been getting paid for my work. They're not responding to like the questions I have as an organization, like the organization not responding while I'm trying to put on their race. Basically just dunks on them. And it's like, I'm wiping my hands of this event. So literally right before the inaugural one happens, which is supposed to be like the replacement to the famed North Face like 50-mile championships, all this happens. Listen, as somebody who loves Bravo reality TV shows, right up my alley. I am messing. I love drama, but damn. And then this race happens with no fanfare whatsoever, which is probably why we're struggling to find results to tell people what happened.
I mean, I do see them. They are on Athlinks, and you actually have to search for the race name on Athlinks is Golden Gate Spartan Trail. The actual event name was the Golden Gate Trail Classic. So, I mean, I don't know. My perception of like Spartan is they're a bit out of touch with, you know, kind of what's going down with like the core of the sport, but who knows? Like that's unfortunate that happened. Like that's just really sucks for that event director that was involved to have that experience. I mean, I guess thankfully it looks like the event went off, hopefully without a hitch, at least for the people that signed up to run it. But yeah, there was a half marathon, a 10K, a 50K, a 100K, and
looks like Wardian ran it.
Yeah, Wardian. Yeah, it was like, you know, Wardian and Dean Carnassus were like the kind of the couple maybe big names that got paid to come out to do it or something. Possibly. I'm I'm speculating.
Interesting.
But yeah, Wardian was
Justin Grunewald.
Justin Grunewald tore it up in the 50K.
Jeez.
So Colton Gale.
Won by 30 minutes.
Colton Gale was your winner for your 100K in 8:27. Anthony Lee, 8:53 for second. Adam Wolf was third in 9:20. And then the women, Claire Heslop, 10:37. Then Myers Gina. Maybe Gina Myers, I'm not sure. And then Marissa Toth was third. So, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, Spartan kind of got jammed by like trying to make a jump into the ultra running space right as a pandemic hit. So
that's true. That's fair.
You know, that's a bummer for them. I'll be interested to see if they can make a larger imprint in 2022, like with a true full season. Because, like, honestly, even the beginning of this year, so many things were like, we don't know if it'll happen or not. So with like the proper planning to put on events and market them, we'll see if it becomes a thing. The whole thing for Spartan is they were going to have like all this money behind it to like entice people to come through, be able to actually convert OCR fans and patrons to this. We've seen some folks go from trails to OCR this year or to some of their shorter trail stuff. But Spartan's probably sitting in headquarters right now, like, listen, we need 2022 to pop off. Like they need a they need a little redux.
We're gonna end this thing.
It's gonna be hard.
Yeah, like the one thing that I noticed, because they tried to like pull in kind of like notable RDs to like maybe with the thought that they would bring bring something to the table. I keep getting ads on social media that's like releasing their calendar, and it's like, I think there's like 6 or something races that I get advertised about. Maybe that's regionally, I don't know, but there's like Spartan 2022 calendar, and it's like, come do a 10K in Arizona. And then there's 5 other races across the country. So I don't know. But yeah, like you said, regrouping. There's a lot that goes down with the pandemic too financially, so I totally understand that. Like I just saw, for instance, this is in the mountain biking world, but Epic Rides, which has like kind of some of the coolest races. Like they started here in Arizona. They got the Whiskey Off-Road, the 24 Hours of the Old Pueblo. They're only doing their Arizona races. I think they were canceled for two years straight because their events don't start until April, so they lost 2 full years.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're basically only doing Arizona. They probably had to lay off their entire staff, I would imagine. And they're not producing their out-of-state events. So no race in Arkansas. Their Grand Junction race actually has been permanently discontinued. And then the Carson City, Nevada event also not happening in 2022. So it's a wild world out there.
I'm deep in the Spartan rabbit hole now. So for $400, you could have had unlimited 2021 racing across the 10K half marathons or 50K. For their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Allegedly 20, I'm going to say 24, 25 races across the United States. Which, I mean, I guess like in the rock and roll vein, like if you're like, hey, I just like to travel for stuff and race, probably not a horrible deal. Like I'm gonna have all these race entries and just can like knock out a bunch of states and whatever. But did I hear a word about any of those? I want to think I'm pretty plugged in terms of like Instagram, YouTube. I watch a lot of stuff. I listen to a lot of stuff. And after their initial like, hey, we're going to do this thing, I didn't hear anything. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll find out.
It's
Spartan, no pressure, but
I'm trying to even see on their website, like, I want to race, so I go to race, and then I go to trail race. Oh, I hit trail races. Okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
10K to 100
I had to like go to their like passes site, and
their fonts are huge. I can't actually see a list of their races. There's no list of their races, unfortunately.
Find a trail. Let's find out.
I can't. Oh, wait. I can't find it. Can you? Can you actually find the races? Oh, find a race.
Trail. 10K to 160K. Let me apply. Okay, here we go.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the sorts of things that piss me off about our sport. When I have to work this hard to just like find
Abu
any
Dhabi.
event.
We could go do a half marathon in Abu Dhabi, December 4. Then we
Correct.
we could go to Mexico. Okay.
Actually,
Go to
I don't hate that.
Hong Kong virtual.
There's
we
a
could do
night race.
A night race
right,
in Victoria. Oh, here we go. Arizona.
Hey.
See, so this is what I'm talking about. So the Arizona Spartan Trail 10K. So I'm gonna click on that, and I'm gonna get a ticket. Where's my race? Fort McDowell. It's at Fort McDowell.
They got some interesting. A lot of these are just 10Ks.
Yeah, it seems like they've essentially abandoned ultra running, and they're doing 10Ks.
Which, okay, from a business standpoint, if you're like, let's try to take the demographic we know we already have and like do something that seems accessible, a 10K is pretty like, hey, you already like do a 10K jumping over a bunch of stuff and carrying things and whatnot. Like you can do it straight up on trails.
And it's part of the weekend of the Arizona Spartan race. So basically they're like, we're here anyways, so we're gonna go over on this other part and like avoid the obstacles or do this other thing.
But it does leave some questions open for longer distances. And I mean, by longer distance, I'm talking about like 30K, 50K. Like nothing. I don't even know how. We need to find somebody who's like actually done one of their like 100-milers and been like, what was that race experience like?
Who's 100-milers? Spartan?
Yeah.
They haven't put one on.
As far allegedly,
as I know. Well,
I don't know.
They partnered with other races similar to Ultra Trail World Tour, and some of the races tried to join both, which doesn't work. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to the poor race organizers. It's like, you actually can't do that. Sorry you weren't informed of that, but you can't do it. You can't have Ultra Trail World Tour banner and Spartan banner, World Championship, Anyways, so yeah, the Golden Gate Trail Classic seemed like it was definitely supposed to be like the premier race. And granted, they had 1,100 runners, it looks like, which is sizable event between all the distances. But it tended to be the half marathon 10K distance, so that's probably what they're going to focus on. Seems like that's my analysis thus far.
Look, I'm down if you want to crush it at the sub-elite or sub-ultra distance. Like, that's fine. But, like, I'm not even hearing about those things. Like, my
You're
SEO.
not hearing about them.
Listen,
you're not hearing about
I got
anything.
nothing. I live in the Bay Area. I am on Instagram a good amount. I get pushed ads that are pretty relevant to me.
So you didn't see any Golden Trail?
Nothing. I literally didn't know it was happening until I saw other people post, "Hey, I ran this race."
I didn't see it. All I saw, I am getting ads for the 10K at Fort McDowell and like the 2022 calendar. So they do have a 50K in San Luis Obispo.
That will not be easy.
Really?
It shouldn't be. Shouldn't be. It's mountainous. Or you're running through vineyards. One of the two.
There's a 10K in Austin in May. There's a Big Bear 10K. I think they're like wherever there's a Spartan race in the U.S., there's going to be a 10K, sometimes a half marathon, and then like 2 50Ks. So thus far, I'm sure their races are only shown through July, so there'll probably be more.
Well, one of us has to sit on a panel next week about the state of the sport moving forward. So good luck with that, buddy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to make this like a complaint fest about Spartan. It's just like for a company that made this big of a investment and splash when they announced that the series was coming, I just expected a bit more. And so I'll be interested to see, like, are they a casualty of the pandemic in terms of this specific vertical? Like we talked about, like, was the pandemic good for running or bad for running on some recent episode? I wonder if, like, it was just really bad timing and they're like, actually, you know what? Like, this just didn't work out. And they can put on a 10K alongside the Spartan races and call it square because they've already got the permits and all that. But like, they're not going to branch out and do a bunch of standalone events. Like if they've already backed off that plan. I don't know if that's been affected by this Ironman, like UTMB, UTWT, Stones conversation. Like a lot has happened.
Yeah.
Forever.
No, that's fair.
A lot has happened. Like, I don't know. Like they kind of like they were there, then they weren't there, and then like a bunch of things happened. And it's like, well, and then golden tickets in Western State are feeding the UTMB and vice versa now. So Spartan's just like on the outside looking in, like, well, I guess we're just going to try to be the largest sub ultra conglomerate. But then like you're dealing with all these local communities, right? Like you're an RD. We have 2 or 3 different companies here in the Bay Area that like are well respected, and Spartan's going to think that they're just going to like muscle into a tight knit community and like box out these local, like I hit the tree. Listen, I don't know. Mull it over. If people have thoughts, drop them in the comments, drop them in the chat. What's the state? Are you for sure? Definitely put them in the Discord. This could be a very interesting thread. Have you heard about Spartan in your area?
Well, let's see. We got some comments here. Should we dip into them, and then we might wind down the pod at some point? But So Eric Anderson won't do a Spartan race, rather give my money to a local RD. I think they could do well focusing on sub-ultra trail races, which is maybe what they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
I would think that's like really easy for them to pull off, especially linking up with the events they're already out at. Thomas Bowling says, I think Swap was somehow linked to this one. So I don't know if they had a partnership of some kind. I don't know did you hear anything about that?
I did not.
Crispin says, I only saw something late last week about it. Didn't really click in my brain until I passed by their ribbons on Saturday on the Golden Gate Bridge. Eric Anderson says, I don't see how they would get volunteers for longer races. And then they had a 50K this past weekend in Lebec, California. Was that a different one? They had a second race, maybe?
That would definitely be news to me.
Yeah. So I guess we'll keep our eyes on it and see. Like, there's been no announcement of, like, the Spartan World Tour for 2022 other than there is a race on their website, I think in Aconcagua in, like, February. So we will see.
I mean, listen. We can say whatever the hell we want. If they're like, hey, we're going to give $500,000 to the person who wins some world championship,
people are going to show up.
Probably. people will show up. So this is all.
Just ignore this podcast. We're just spewing. We're just spewing it.
But as it currently stands.
I do miss the TNF50, and like that one captured for sure the attention of the sport. And what they did, how they did it, whether it was the timing, and maybe they bowed out at the perfect time in hindsight, like we're going to close this chapter. It was a good run. That was that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say something, and then we're going to put a pin in it because I know that this could become its own 40-minute conversation. The North Face, from a timing perspective, right? That like first weekend of December, which is kind of what Brazos Bend is now, but it doesn't have the same hype train because it's too long as a distance. But 50 miles was
in the Marin Headlands with like the culture and community. Like that was like the 2 a.m. club and like all that. It's all part of it, right?
But yes. And the point I was going to argue is that ultra running doesn't have a traditional off season in the same way that other sports do. Like if you're a track athlete, you kind of get through, July, August, September. And then you have this natural off season. So you see folks move to the roads, you do some road miles, you do, like the USATF 5K championships, but like some people are in their off season. Some people are just like coming out of marathons. Some people are building for spring marathons. Like you end up at this weird cross section of people who are like just starting their next campaign and people who are just ending a campaign. For ultras, you don't really have this like, hey, here's a very clearly defined block where nothing is happening, or where you're going to have people who are cycling down and cycling up. And to be at the beginning of December when you just get out of your Javelinas, JFKs, UTMB was only 2 months prior. Like you have people who can like all kind of show up at a 50-mile distance and like crush it. And then be like, all right, like I'm going to take the rest of December, unless I'm doing Bandera, January, like just down, and then like Black Canyon, like the golden ticket chase. that's kind of, but like other than that, there's no clearly defined. Like some people can have an off season in July, August because they were focused on Western. Some people can have an off season in, April, May. It just, there's no clearly defined, like this is the time when our sport is quiet and down and races aren't happening that are important. And so I wonder if that helped to a large degree the success of that North Face 50 miler. In addition to the fact that like you can come here, the weather is pretty much great. It doesn't snow. So like no matter where you are, you're probably going to upgrade your weather situation by coming here. You have the entire community. You had like all the November projects showed up. Like it was a scene in and of itself. I don't know if somebody else can recreate that. I don't know if Spartan just thought like, hey, we'll just like be on the same sort of schedule. I don't know if somebody else can do that. I don't know. I'm putting it out there. I'm gonna walk away. That's
like you like
that's
it.
Just my thought. Actually.
You like it. You miss it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it was always a good time. Like,
yeah, it was a good time.
Even like I never did the 50 miler because I don't do 50 milers that often. But even like when we were out there for the challenges, like we were just like kicking it before or after things during the race, and everybody was just like having a good time. And like you found people who were just like they had a great season and were just out there, or you had people who were just trying to cap off, right? The whole Hawks v. Miller video, right? Like that's two dudes who were just like trying to cap off a phenomenal, like it was the perfect mix of folks who were all in it for the culture, and it was a distance that had an ability for folks, regardless of where they were in their season cycle, to be able to show up and perform. You have a Brazos Bend the same weekend now, 100 miles, a little too far for people who are off season to be like, yeah, I'm just going to go put down a fast 100 mile.
TNF was like in November though, wasn't it? Like, or did it bounce around a bit?
It was like the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So it was either the weekend before Thanksgiving or it was like the weekend after. Like it was in that like 2-week window. But I mean, I'll argue the same point, right? It's that bucket. And it's just, I don't know. That part is missing. And someone may be able to pick up the mantle, but you have to be able to build that culture and a distance that is accessible enough for folks of all types to show up and show out. But without a true off season, ultra running as a whole is always kind of a crapshoot of when you can get away with doing something like that. So that's it. That's my thought exercise. That's my 2 cents. This has been Tuesdays with Schuyler.
Seems like a good time to wrap it.
Yes, sir. So we got some final thoughts to impart. As always, if you're watching this live on YouTube, thank you for joining us all evening, dropping your thoughts in the live chat. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe and hit that little bell so you know when we go live on YouTube in the future. If you are trying to get this on your podcatcher of choice, it's the Steep Life Media channel. Make sure that you just subscribe to that. There's a bunch of other stuff that's not just our podcast. There's a whole series going into Javelina that was preparing folks, and I'm sure there'll be a bunch of things coming up for Cocodona because somehow that race is already creeping up on us, as is Black Canyon. We got a bunch of stuff coming out on the Steep Life Media channel. And then lastly, we got that Discord. We talked about it. It's the best way to reach us in between these sessions, so long as Jamil actually pins it to his homepage. So make sure that you join the Discord, follow the comments.
Discord is it's top secret. If you're in there, then you're lucky.
You know what's up. But yeah, no, check out the description on the video, or just ask us just to do.
And I got one
we'll
more thing to drop in here for anyone, for 37 of you here. If you are in Colorado, we are officially opening Aravaipa, Colorado, December 6th, Monday night. We will have a official opening of our Colorado office, which is very exciting.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
Colorado Springs. We will have a group run from Fossil Brewery. I forget. I think it's like generally from 4 to 8 p.m. Show up. We're going to run at some point. We're also we actually might even be meeting at the Aravaipa office, but stay tuned. So Aravaipa, Colorado will be a thing December 6th. Come check it out. We're going to have some fun stuff happening. I will be there. Morgan will be there, who's our Colorado race director. Exciting stuff. Come check it out. Join us. Have some beers. Have some vegan food truck stuff. And the official launch, the ground floor of Aravaipa, Colorado. Super pumped. Super excited. And I think we will have I think you'll be able to sign up for a brand new Aravaipa, Colorado race in December. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
That's all I got. Just trying to get some hype going.
I'm excited about it. Yeah, I'm going to go check out the office on the second half of December, popping down that way. So
you'll be in Colorado Springs?
Maybe we'll do. Dude, I'm always in Colorado Springs.
Let's do it.
We'll talk.
I love it. All right.
I love
because I might have
down there. So,
I'm like trying to figure out my cadence of going to Colorado Springs. So we'll just have to see how it plays out.
My people will call your people, and then I'm sure we'll announce it here so people can come hang out with us. And then lastly, hey, thank you all for just being you, for being part of this community. Keep doing what you're doing. If you are, getting back into running after some downtime, if you are riding high, wherever you're at in your running journey, we want to be there alongside just to make sure you let us know, what's going on in your world. We got like a whole training talk channel on the Discord. Hey, we're all in this together. So hold each other accountable. Remember, Jamil has a coach now, so we get to harass him. If he screws up, we can all bother him now. So let's all be in this together. Make sure you end 2021 on a strong note. We got a bunch of virtual challenges that you can hop into, including Vertmas, which goes live December 1st. Climb all the mountains you want. And then, let's just rock 2022. So let's build that momentum now so that once January 1st hits, we can all crush it in 2022. That's it for me. Jamil, you got anything else to say?
That's it.
That's it. Cool. He's been Jam. I've been Skizzle Fresh. This has been a podcast, and we will catch you guys later.